My guest at this time will take on Progress Wrestling champion Cara Noir this Sunday at Progress Chapter 129. I choose you. It is Swerve the Realest. Swerve, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Man, it's a busy day, but I'll still fit in the time, man, to get these interviews in.
Yeah, dude. So are you in London? Are you taking off for London? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Hollywood right now.
Okay. That's a long flight.
Business done. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We lost you there for a second, Swerve. You broke up. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, just off to the next destination to get some business done. Business, you know how it is.
I feel.
So
Yep. I
yeah.
got it. All right. Well, so Swerve the Realist, is this the moniker you want everybody to start getting familiar with now that you're no longer in WWE?
Absolutely. It's a title. It feels more like artistic and iconic of a name. You know, you got the Charlemagne the Gods out there, the Tyler the Creators. So you got a Swerve the Realist going on right now, and further explanation will come in time.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I love it. I just wanted to get a take on that. A lot of my writers ask me for whatever reason about your name. They're like, "Who is he now?" So thank you.
Yep.
So how are you feeling here ahead of your Progress title shot in London this weekend?
After just coming out to Defy 50 years and 5-year anniversary, I should say. Next one, February 26th, will be Defy 50. I feel way more motivated and inspired just from getting in front of a live audience in a ring again after so many months now. Like it's ignited that fire again. So I feel really good about, especially heading over to London. You know, place like it was pretty much my second home to UK for the like 2017, 2018, even 2016. Like Progress was really like one of those premier places and still is to this day on the independent scene. So I'll never forget like the time I just watched the match back, me being welcomed into Progress by Will Ospreay at the time. So now I get to come back for my second time facing off for the Progress World Championship.
Yeah, dude, that's a big return. How is it traveling back and forth, by the way, right now between the States and London? Any headaches or anything like that?
This is my first time going in several years, since 2019, I believe. So,
Yeah.
so far, I think it's pretty good. Like talking to management and everything, communicating with them, they're saying like everything looks pretty smooth. Just have all your ducks in a row, T's crossed, I's dotted, as far as paperwork and all that stuff. So I think we're all set.
Dude, that's great, man. It's good to hear the wrestling world is just opening up again. I mean, we all got locked in our own little bubbles here. And I mean, I'm a big fan of the North American scene, but it is crazy to me how the bridges to like Japan, UK, Mexico, they all just kind of burned overnight. It's nice to see everybody kind of getting to play around again.
It's crazy. It's a perfect time too. It couldn't have came at a better time where everything's starting to ease up a little bit. Me personally, like being with WWE for the past 3 years and during the COVID era and stuff, it was just like, man, like you were kind of worried about what was going on. Like I was like a very fortunate spot to have the job security at the time and just be able to like still perform on a weekly basis, get in the ring and train like all the time with the protocols being set and all that, and then just looking out. Now, like 2 years later after this, we're seeing everything come together a little more. And like I said, it was just this is the perfect time for that, and seeing like all the talent that's going to be available to be traveling back and forth, jumping on planes, and crossing borders. It couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, for sure. And so, huge match. Like, if you win the Progress World Championship, are you going to be over there a lot more then? Do you plan on staying over there for a prolonged period of time? Or do you still plan on kind of jumping back and forth for the time being?
I'll do the jumping. I'll do the back and forth jumping, man, because I have a lot of things coming up over in the stateside. So I need that needs my presence met a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to definitely jump over in the UK back and forth all the time, and like sometimes stay there for like 2-3 weeks on end. Definitely, I can make the adjustment to the scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. But first things first is getting the championship.
Yeah. Well,
then we can talk about the travel.
Yeah, well, let's get to the match here, right? Cara Noir, what do you want to tease fans with? What kind of match can people expect when you two get in the ring this weekend?
Definitely energy. Definitely energy. Kevin Noir brings a different energy, unlike anybody I've seen on the independents or in the wrestling industry. Period. Never seen anything like it, and he's very unique and the only person that out there like him. Myself, being the realist that I am, coming to the ring, I already brought a different vibe as it was. So just imagine these two personalities just facing off in front of the Progress fans in the electric ballroom. It's just going to bring a whole ambiance to the entire venue, the entire building.
Yeah.
Before we even lock up, before we even like start the offense and defense and start the entanglement in the ring, is going to be. I think we're going to already have the attention of the fans before then.
How does it get to feel to bring what you learned in WWE back to the independents and get to take some of that knowledge and hand it over to Kerry here in a situation like this?
Oh, I'm not giving them no knowledge at all.
Okay, got it. I didn't know. I mean, after the match and stuff, I'm not saying to give tips going into it, but after the fact, it's got to feel different. You just got to have. Look,
I'm not Pat. Well, the thing about it's the knowledge of like coming from WWE was never like it was a passed on thing. It was like they'd give you little nuggets and then you had to learn and experience it. Then you felt it and then like it definitely like attached to you. And then you ended up performing and living it without even knowing what you were doing. So it's not something that you're going to really like just say and then do. I can teach you and tell you all the things in the world, but until you truly experience it and actually let that kind of seep in with you in your style and who you are as a person, as a performer, it's not really going to translate. So it's something that you just got to like go in there and be challenged as well. I think you need to face those challenges of things that you're not comfortable with, and then look at it face to face and attack it. That's when you have those breakthroughs. So I think that's what I feel like that's what Kerry's going to have to experience. It's not something I can just teach. It's something he's going to have to experience.
So maybe not about handing off the knowledge, but do you feel like you're approaching the indies now with a fresh set of eyes differently now going through that WWE process than you saw the opportunities before you had gone through WWE?
Excuse me, say that one more time.
No, that's fine. I know we broke up there for a second. That's fine. No, I was saying for you though, do you approach the matches like this indies with a fresh set of eyes? Was your perspective kind of on the business altered in any kind of significant way during that process of WWE?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I was just talking to somebody about this recently. I was talking to one of my mentors, Sammy Callahan, about this. Is just now like which you can honestly say like across the entire genre of entertainment and sports. Everybody has learned and picked up and grasped the style and multitude of different styles at a younger age and gotten it early on than I've ever seen before. And Sammy would agree. Like everybody's like you seeing like Nick Wayne at 16 just grasped the style already. The movements, the pacing, the timing, the techniques and everything, it's already there. It's just the accessibility of like what we're dealing with now with like a YouTube and, FaceTime in and all the technology. We could just access it and everybody's adapting so much quicker at a younger age. So, but I feel like we're missing the feeling again, the feeling of who we are and why we do what we do, and making the crowd and the audience watching at home feel something about you and who you are while performing at the rate that you do, which is a very hard balance. That's a really difficult balance to perfect. There's very few people that perfect it. And but as far as looking at the talent across the independents, like both stateside and overseas, like everybody can pretty much do everything now. It's like nobody has that one thing that nobody else can do. As far as physical attributes and stuff, everybody has all of them.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, now how do you pull forward in this group of vast talent? That's like everybody in high school coming to the NBA can dunk now. and is attacking defensive player of the years. And like 19-year-olds are just attacking everybody, and they have no fear of those guys anymore. People don't come into the profession afraid of these guys that's been doing it for like 8 to 10 years plus. There's no fear of that anymore. There's no fear across that in the NFL. You have Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl in his second year in the league. He's not afraid. You got like Anthony Edwards, the second year in the league, LaMelo Ball. Like they're just like cooking veterans. Now you have like a 16-year-old Nick Waynes, and you have Blake Christians, and then you have like all these young guys. They're not afraid. They're coming at like the Will Ospreys, who just main evented the Tokyo Dome. They're coming at these Matt Cardonas, who's been at WrestleMania and performed year in and year out. They're coming at these guys. So that's what I'm noticing.
Yeah, and when you say coming at it, and do you think it's just like a lack of like storytelling or character development? You think that is that bridge lacking with the younger talent to the older talent right now? Because I hear what you're saying physically, like guys are coming in and trying to take that Will Ospreay Swerve spot right now physically, but there is something to be said about the kind of veteran knowledge that comes along with how to tell that story correctly and how to make those moments kind of breathe a little bit, I guess.
The storytelling is great, honestly. I think that's not the problem. It's just the understanding of who you are and why you're doing what you're doing.
Okay.
And that comes with growth and time, though, and experience. Like I was talking about earlier with me trying to teach a Cara Noir. Like, no, that's something that you're gonna have to just feel and understand later on. Some people like these are young kids that still haven't even developed and understood who they are as people yet, let alone a performer.
Right.
So a lot of talent can just hide who they are by going in and just performing, and they perform at a high rate and do it very well. But that's like sometimes a coping mechanism to not expressing who they truly are because they don't know how to, or they don't understand who they are yet. That's going to come with life experience. That's going to come with going through pain. That's going to come with losing opportunities because everybody's gaining them so much. And they're wrestling and PWG and doing the top independent promotions already. All right, I want to see who you are when you get told no, when you get shut out and not until and those opportunities pulled away, money taken away from you. Like go through some hardship. That's going to prove who you are. You got to be battle tested. I want to see some of these guys get battle tested a little bit before I hand them that title a little bit.
Fair enough. This is not the only title match. I think I could say this. I think it's public now by the time this is going to be released. Gresham, ROH championship on the line as well against Dean Allmark, pure rules match. What do you think about the work Gresham's been doing
Man, I'm so proud of that man for finally getting his just due. Being the top of the independents all over the place, everywhere he goes, carrying the ROH World Championship, the pure title everywhere. He's earned that. If anything, he's been one of the best pure wrestlers on planet Earth for like the past 7 years, maybe more, arguably. In my eyes, he's been a main event talent for a very long time, and now it's just undeniable. It's unfortunate to see where ROH is at right now. By the time he reached that mountaintop and really proved who he was, and what he's all about, but now he's just it didn't stop any momentum for him. That's what I'm happy about. It didn't stop anything.
And it reminds me a little bit of like the old touring NWA champion, right? And I know these companies aren't all interconnected, but to see a guy representing the title and being able to defend it all over the country against these wide variety of opponents, I personally kind of think it's cool. Maybe not great for the Ring of Honor as a whole with the hiatus, but I think not a bad deal for Gresham at the moment.
Yeah. Like I said, I couldn't be more proud of him, seeing him do what he's doing now. Like I said, like him being solidified and the Sports Illustrated top 10 wrestlers in the world. I'm like, yeah, that was like 100% like agreed on that. And he's, like I said, I think he's been that way for so long. And just even like I said, it's a little unfortunate about the state of what Ring of Honor's in at the moment, but the fact that he could just go out and still maintain that, not lose that momentum. If anything, gain more, going to GCW, doing Terminus, doing Progress. He just was in Defy, just crossed paths with them recently. I'm happy for him. He deserves it, and he's only gonna be another staple pioneer for the business of the independent professional wrestling industry for years to come. And he's still growing. He's still not at his peak yet.
Well, I do want to get your thoughts. Of course, you were there when Darby Allin surprised everybody at Defy, offered Nick Wayne that AEW contract. What was it like to kind of be in that moment? Were you surprised that Nick Wayne at 16 was offered this deal?
I'm not surprised at all. I seen him. He's another one that got a lot of momentum coming. He just has a lot of momentum. It was only a matter of time before he popped up on the AEW radar. It was a very poetic and almost very like storybook telling of a storybook beginning. That contract offer came from Darby, like another pioneer for Defy in the Pacific Northwest, and me coming back from WWE at the same time is very poetic. Seeing these three past, present, futures of the industry of Defy period.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to have that. And then I'm just like, I love coming in being like very big boss vibe at the end of the movie. It's like, okay, you had your match of the years with Joey Janela. You took on Blake Christian. We show you can hang. Show you can hang with like the champion, the interim champion with Christopher Daniels. You can do, you could be in the mix. Now I want to see if you can survive. I'm the tester. It's not just whose house, Swerve's house. This is whose industry, Swerve's industry. I want to test you. That's my job now. That coming back, Sw3rve The Realest, this 32-year-old Swerve, like I've done some things. I've experienced some things. You've seen how hardcore and extreme I've gotten. You've seen how battle tested I've been. You've seen what I put my body through. I want to see how far you're willing to put your body through now.
Yeah, man. For sure. And, of course, everybody was happy to see Darby offered Nick a contract. I think a lot of people wondered about you, though, Swerve. Like, have you talked or interest, or are you interested in anything like that?
I'm interested in every opportunity. I'm looking at every opportunity individually, not all at one time, but everything individually, where I'm needed, what can I provide, but what can also be provided to me, and the big things I want to do. Like I said, I'm out here in Hollywood running around doing a lot of business things, about to go to London end of the week. There's going to be a lot that's going to have to combat that and work with it. What can I offer a promotion, and what can the promotion also allow for me to take these other ventures and mesh and bring them together? Where's my restrictions? I need a lot of freedom when it comes to that.
So, do you have any interest in going back to WWE at this time, or are you still very content to kind of explore the world outside of WWE right now?
Right now, I'm content with the exploring. The state that WWE is in right now, I don't think it needs me. I don't think what they're looking for and what they're asking for of their talent is something that I can provide, because I'm always wanting more. I'm always moving on a different pace. I don't like waiting around too much. I don't like waiting in line. I don't like trying to fill one lane that everybody else is already jamming in. Like I'm always into creating my own lane, and doing something that's very like, it's sometimes the things I want to venture out and try is like, it's going to take risk, and it's a lot of unknown territory that that system is just not familiar with. And that's okay, because it's their system. They're still going to be successful with what they do, whether they change or not. They're still going to make their money. They're still going to keep having a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam, a Survivor Series, a Royal Rumble. That's not going to stop. They're just going to keep selling out and being the ultra great conglomerate that it is. But I think now is the time there's a spot open that not a lot of people are seeing right now, and I'm willing to take the risk and jump in and take that chance and attack on that. And I think like when me trying to bring that to their attention, it was very confusing for them, or it was just something they didn't know how to control and tap into. So with that being said, like, now's the time for like them to do what they do and me to do what I do.
Fair enough. All right. Well, last question here. I got to ask you. It's the biggest thing. We're seeing like WrestleMania levels of traffic on the website here today. Do you have any thoughts on Cody Rhodes exiting AEW and possibly heading back to WWE? Or no?
I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it before with a Drew McIntyre. We've seen it before with like a Bobby Lashley. We've seen it with a Jericho many times. We've seen it. We've seen it with a lot of different talents over the years. So, is it a shock on the timing? The timing, yes, I think is a shock. I thought he would have had a bigger swan song for AEW, me personally. But hey, I think these past like 5 years, I think he's earned it. Me personally, I think he's earned it. I think he's sat out, did what he wanted to do. Had a reality show, got on a big game show with a lot of eyes, made his connections, made his like prove the internet wrong, change the narrative of him that we've seen of him for years. You know, he's done a lot. So I think he's doing what's best for him, his career, and his family.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Swerve, I want to thank you so much for taking the time here today. Really appreciate it. Of course, it's Go Down This Week in Progress. Chapter 129, I choose you. You're taking on Cara Noir for the Progress Wrestling Championship. Anything else you want to put over here before we wrap up the interview today?
This is perfect time, and I just get on my ride. Tears album, March 18th. Check it out. All streaming platforms. Terminus, February 24th. What else we got coming up? April 16th. Pro Wrestling Revolver out in Iowa. Check that out. Swerve's house. Me versus Ruby Soho. First time ever, and probably last time ever. Who knows how that goes? Just be on that. Shoot, man. There's so much coming up. Schedule's getting nuts. That's just the stuff I'm announcing. Just watch wrestling. Just watch all wrestling. You never know where I'm going to pop up. It's going to be a beautiful thing. This 2022 is Sw3rve The Realest year, man.
Awesome. Cool.
And check out the Sw3rve City podcast. YouTube.com/Sw3rve City podcast.